To begin, welcome to Insider Insights, navigating the U.S. immigration maze. This video distills lessons from hundreds of real cases, reviewed both inside government and in private practice. We will cover legal admissibility minefields, common bureaucratic delays, and smart strategies applicants can use to reduce risk. We will also include quizzes to check your understanding, and we will close with practical next steps and key takeaways. Let's set expectations. This is general education, not individual legal advice. With that in mind, let's outline the journey ahead. First, we will set the big picture context for why the U.S. immigration process often feels unpredictable. Next, we will unpack legal admissibility issues including unlawful presence, criminal history, and good moral character, and the federal cannabis trap. Then, we will analyze bureaucratic black holes, such as administrative processing and interview limbo. After that, we will compare the strategy of renewing a green card versus applying for naturalization. We will also give you a concise preparation checklist. Finally, we will test your knowledge with brief quizzes and summarize key takeaways you can act on. Now, let's explore why the process is so complex. U.S. immigration law layers detailed statutes, regulations, and policies across multiple agencies, including USCIS, the Department of State, and the Department of Homeland Security. Moreover, security checks and interagency coordination add review time that is invisible to applicants. As a result, two similar cases can move at different speeds or yield different requests for evidence. Understanding this structure helps you set realistic expectations and plan your documentation strategy accordingly. Before we go deeper, an important disclaimer. This video provides general educational information and is not legal advice. Immigration outcomes depend heavily on individualized facts, timing, and evolving policy guidance. Therefore, you should consult a qualified immigration attorney who can evaluate your background, documents, and goals to craft an appropriate strategy for your specific case. Next, let's tackle admissibility. First, unlawful presence. Time spent unlawfully in the United States before age 18 generally does not count toward the 3-year or 10-year inadmissibility bars. Additionally, if your total unauthorized presence is under 180 days, the bars typically do not apply when you depart. However, documentation proving timing and voluntary departure is critical and will be scrutinized. Second, criminal history. Even misdemeanors or juvenile matters can affect deportability for permanent residence or your eligibility to naturalize, where good moral character is examined during a specific statutory period. Third, the good moral character requirement is stringent, and interpretations can shift with policy. Finally, the cannabis trap. Despite state legalization trends, marijuana remains a federally controlled substance, and admitting to past or present use on medical exams or forms can render you inadmissible under federal law. Now, let's compare strategic options. On the left, renewing a green card is often safer for individuals with questionable records because it avoids immediate good moral character scrutiny and reduces risk of triggering adverse findings during a naturalization review. It allows you to maintain lawful permanent resident status while you resolve or better understand any issues. On the right, applying for naturalization can be appropriate for low-risk candidates who can clearly establish good moral character for the required period. However, it invites a comprehensive review that may uncover conduct leading to denial or, in some cases, removal proceedings. The decision must weigh benefits against the risk profile of your specific facts. Moving on, here is a quick glance table. For unlawful presence, time before age 18 generally does not count toward the 3- and 10-year bars, and fewer than 180 days may avoid those bars. Evidence includes entry and exit records, school documents, affidavits, and travel documentation. For criminal history, the impact spans deportability and good moral character. Obtain certified court records and case dispositions for legal review. For cannabis admissions, remember that federal inadmissibility can be triggered by admissions on medical exams and forms. Be careful and consult counsel. Finally, the good moral character window is strictly reviewed, so maintain robust evidence such as tax filings, steady employment, community involvement, and compliance documents. Meanwhile, let's address bureaucratic black holes. Administrative processing can occur after an interview when further security or background checks are needed. These checks are routine in many cases and can extend 30 days or more, depending on interagency coordination. Even a seemingly successful interview does not guarantee immediate approval. Cases may remain pending for additional review or result in requests for evidence if clarification is needed. While status inquiries through official channels can be helpful for confirmation, they seldom accelerate adjudication. Therefore, patience, accurate records, and timely responses are critical during this period. Next, visualize the waiting period with a timeline. It begins with document gathering and form submission in the pre-interview stage. On the interview day, a case may proceed to normal adjudication or enter administrative processing under Section 221G. During AP, security and interagency checks can last from a few weeks to several months, depending on case specifics. There may also be a request for additional evidence, which applicants should answer promptly and completely. The process culminates in a final decision, whether issuance or refusal. Importantly, while inquiries can confirm the case status, they rarely accelerate the underlying checks. Now let's test your understanding. Which statement about unlawful presence bars is generally true? Option A. Time spent unlawfully in the United States before age 18 usually does not count toward the 3 or 10-year bars. Option B. Any unlawful presence automatically triggers a 10-year bar upon departure. Option C. If total unauthorized stay is under 180 days, the 3 or 10-year bars must apply. Option D. Documentation of voluntary departure is unnecessary if you are under 18. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is Option A. Generally, unlawful presence accrued before age 18 does not count toward the 3 or 10-year inadmissibility bars. Additionally, if the total unauthorized stay is under 180 days, the bars often do not apply when you depart. Nevertheless, you must carefully document the dates of presence and any voluntary departure to withstand scrutiny. Next, here is another question. Which cannabis-related statement is most accurate for U.S. immigration purposes? Option A. State legalization means prior use is safe to admit. Option B. Admitting marijuana use can trigger federal inadmissibility even if the use was legal locally. Option C. Medical marijuana cards protect you from immigration consequences. Option D. Officers ignore cannabis admissions during medical exams. You may pause the video now to consider your answer. We will discuss the answer in the following section. The correct answer is Option B. Immigration adjudications apply federal law, and marijuana is a federally controlled substance. Therefore, admissions of past or present use on forms or during medical examinations can lead to inadmissibility findings, regardless of state or foreign legalization. Before we proceed to our deep dive, here is a concise preparation checklist. First, map your timeline precisely by documenting entry and exit dates and supporting evidence. Second, gather certified records, such as court dispositions and police certificates where applicable. Third, assemble positive equities, including tax compliance, steady employment, education, and community service. Fourth, avoid risky admissions by understanding federal implications for cannabis or other conduct questions before you answer. Fifth, anticipate administrative processing and potential requests for evidence, budgeting time accordingly. Sixth, use official inquiry channels but manage expectations regarding speed. Finally, consult competent legal counsel prior to major filings. Let's continue with a quick, Markdown-style deep dive. For good moral character, the typical statutory period is 5 years, or 3 years, for certain applicants married to a United States citizen. Review commonly includes taxes, any criminal history, honesty and accuracy on forms and at interviews, and overall compliance. For unlawful presence, time before age 18 generally does not count toward the 3 and 10-year bars, and less than 180 total days usually avoids triggering those bars on departure. For administrative processing, expect variability. Inquiries can confirm your status but seldom speed the result. As a practical tip, maintain both digital and paper files, and place a one-page case summary on top for quick reference. As we wrap up key points, remember the following. First, document everything meticulously. Timelines and corroborating evidence are essential. Second, be extremely cautious with admissions regarding conduct, particularly cannabis, due to federal law. Third, if your good moral character is questionable, consider renewing your green card while you address risk factors. Fourth, anticipate administrative processing and build timeline buffers. Finally, consult a qualified immigration attorney to tailor strategy to your specific circumstances. In summary, the U.S. immigration system combines intricate law with multi-agency reviews, which creates variability and delay. Unlawful presence rules include important exceptions for time accrued before age 18 and for total durations under 180 days. Criminal history and good moral character considerations can complicate naturalization, making renewal the safer interim option for some applicants. Cannabis remains a federally controlled substance, and admissions can create inadmissibility issues despite local legalization. Finally, administrative processing and interview limbo are common, so preparation, documentation, and patience are crucial. Before we close, thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more insider breakdowns. Finally, tell us in the comments what part of the process confuses you most, or what topic you want us to tackle next.